Good evening, gamers and lads. We are back again in the MOBA Legends 5v5 Championship. This is the legend.
Experienced, and the ban itself says for itself because there's Apex as well. So there's a lot of respect bans could be possible right now. But what do you think about the bans? Because every player, he's kind of the hero pool of both the teams. It's kind of big. So even after banning those respect heroes, it's not enough, right?
I do agree with you at certain extent, but again, it is a best of five series, so we might see some interesting draft from both of such teams. And you are right about it. Like both of the teams are quite experienced players in the Mobile Legends game itself. But seeing it the bans, I'm like seeing like it is quite standard bans which we could talk about in the draft itself. We are seeing a chip along with a Ruby and a Lolita along with that Zushin.
And also, like the LCF, they have the first pick, so they will actually prioritize something for themselves. And there's ABM against them. So what do they prioritize as the first pick? Is it just going to be a normal meta pick, or is it going to be a respect hero just stolen from themselves? I'm excited about the first pick, Sasuke. But as a first pick from LCF, what do you think? Like, what would they go for?
I mean, seeing the bands, we can see like the three of the meta heroes, or which are currently the hype heroes, Raja, Ling, along with that Hayabusa. I'm seeing like all three of them are quite open. But look at that. Talking about the bands, we are seeing a Yin and a respect band from Team LCF towards that J, it seems. But again, the final ban from ABM would be the consider because even Zask is open this time, and along with it, there is Edith, there is along with Julian. I mean, a lot of heroes are open right at now.
And that's true. Like both the teams, they're playing their draft pretty well right now. And if you see, like, if you just forgot about to mention, there's Ling and Haya still open. So if the LCF goes for either of the picks, the ABM they get two of them back. So there's a lot of mind games, man. And also like from the side of ABM, their hero pool is a lot, and they do some really scary mind games. So I'm excited. And there goes the third ban from taken from that radium, and it's going to be the Zask as you mentioned, and that leaves a lot of options for LCF at this moment.
Mm-hmm. They could nullify if they prioritize, or rather this time they could nullify with it along with a Cho for that Apex. Or maybe some technical other heroes, even at this point, if they Team LCF they prioritize the Roger, they could go for a Ling or a Hayabusa for that Jade. Seems along with the Terzla or Edith in the XP lane.
And like as you just mentioned, like there could be a Roger, and yep, there is the Peter onto that Roger as the first pick. But that leaves it could be a backfire because there's still a lot of heroes open. So the ABM they would have to just use their trump cards at this moment. But what do you think about the two picks right now, Sasuke?
I do think like they could even go for that Santa, the high loss in the EXP if they don't want to prioritize Mirio on that Terizla. And they could definitely, but wait a minute, a twist in turns coming in, Jade locking down that Xbox. Meanwhile, you they did lock down that center, but it is Apex on that high loss.
And to just make sure to just remind you that they just pick Xbox and Hylos. So that if the Roger wants to go to the gold lane, now it is his chance because the Ling and High are open. So they could actually go for that strategy. And if you see, like there's still Edith open. So like the Terizilla, the Edith, they could even prioritize an EX laner at this moment. But you can see the Apex, he is a roamer. So most probably the Hylos is perhaps going to be a roamer, or unless they want to go Hylos as an EX laner though.
Mhm. Even it's inspired like Team LCF, they prioritize the Ling or Hayabusa. Like Team ABM, they could prioritize a Cho or even a Kaja to lock or nullify those Blink heroes. And it would be too good to see Apex on that Kaja. We know like he plays a Cho and it is quite stunning. But meanwhile, we are seeing Team LCF locking down that Uranus onto that EXP lane. Meanwhile, Light on that will be on the hyper section itself.
And the picks, the error and the light, They're just picking that Uranus and the Nathan against that Xmog and Hylos at this moment. They're just leaving all those meta heroes for the good draft. Like they're drafting like pros, man. Like I'm really excited. Like what's going to be an answer to that Nathan, because Radium is showing Moscow, and yep, he confirms that Moscow onto the gold lane. And as we move on to the second phase of banning Sasuke, like the team from the ABM, what do you think the ban is going to be?
And they could, they could go for a hyper or a mage this time because Team LCF they are left to pick the mage, and for this time they could prioritize Aurora. But looking at that, they'll be banning out that Minotaur away for this game in the land of Dawn.
And man, I'm still confused. Like, why are they not picking up the Ling or the Haya, man? Because the Jade, okay, it's okay. It's expected for Xbox to be on jungler or either on EXP lane. But what about Team LCF? They could actually go for either a Ling or Haya, but they're just refusing it. They just, I think, like they're waiting for someone to just ban it out, or they could just pick it at the last moment.
Technically don't know like if they're prioritizing a blue buff hero, Apex will be there just right about their asses, bullying them, and it would be too much chaos just to go for the blue buff heroes for the hyper. I mean, talking about the Roger, he is not a buff independent hyper. Even if the enemy team ganked their jungle, even in the early game, he could probably just leave it, or it could do some some other shenanigans like go into the enemy jungles and like that, but it won't be stopping it from ganking the team fight though.
Yeah, that is true. And the early leash, it would be most probably be taken from ABM because there's Xbox. So they need to burst out the Firaga armor of him. And that Rogers Lycan Pounce is the perfect answer to just, counter that Firaga armor and take it off. Then the last sanity, it won't be like, useful at that point. And because there's Apex, so he'll be diving inside like with that glorious pathway along with the stun with him. So the invade, there are two options for the Apex to do right now. Either help the Xbox with his continuously damage kind of skill, or perhaps he could go for a invasion along with that Xbox.
That is absolutely true. And talking about the three picks from both of the teams, I can see like both. I mean, a lot of heroes could be a versatile or a flex pick because I see at least minimum two of the heroes in both of the teams. Like it could be used in multiple lanes as of now. But talking about the last ban, I do think it could be probably a mage or a Kane, an EXP ban for it then though, because I don't see a relevance. But this time again, they'll be banning out that Xavier. Oh, Asuna won't be playing that, but again, Novaria is left open for him though.
And as you mentioned, the Xavier ban, since they're yet to pick the mage, do you think that Xavier ban is worth for them?
I mean, technically, yeah, because it could nullify or do a ton amount of damage. As we know, the Xavier's ultimate, along with that book and that wishing lantern in the late game or even in the mid game, he do a ton amount of damage just with his ultimate.
Yeah, that is true. Like, but I'm still thinking like it could be a better van, but they're just sticking with the drafts. The communication between both the teams is excellent, man. And as we moving on, the Suna just locks onto that Aurora. Like we will just seeing a lot of CC from themselves. He'll be just giving a lot of sets for that Xpog or that Hylos to give a lot of stunts. And the Moscow, he could then just dive inside and secure the kills. But there's Uranus to just tank a lot of damage with him, and there's Nathan to use entropy and just back off from any situation if possible, but it's still on the flicker. So it won't be possible though unless he has to use the flicker with them. But what do you think about the Nathan onto that flicker? Do you think he's better with Purify or the flicker?
Well, technically, in spite or after locking down Aurora in the enemy, I would prefer that Nathan on Purify would be a better option. But again, it is up to the player preference whether he wants to go with a Purifier or a Flicker. It is totally up to them. But meanwhile, LCF locking down that Vexana along with that Grok for their Roma, along with that Mage.
And Vexana is just coming like popping up with the Eternal Guard. Will be just, she will just casually just using the Eternal Guard and just throwing it away to just give them a lot of frontline along with the Uranus and the Grok. And we see Blizz is on the Grok. So the wild charge, Sirio and Jay, they just swapped the heroes among themselves. I was going to think that Xpog is going to be on jungler, but never mind. The Amon, the Jay, He wants to go Amon on jungle, man. It's going to be a lot of just exciting match. It's going to be a lot of exciting things going to happen into the first 3 minutes because either they could go for invasion because they have Grok with themselves.
And talking about the Croc, he could be not too much tanky against the physical damage. It just besides the standing around the walls, but again, he could be too much squishy in the early games towards the magic defense. And I don't think like Amon in the hyper in the last pick would be the answer for that Grok or response towards that Grok pick from the Blizz.
That is true. And moving on, like we'll be just diving right into the first match. It's going to be the LCF versus ABM. And as we move on to the land of Dawn, Sasuke, which team has draft better?
I mean, technically, seeing the previous games and the rounds, I do prefer like Aurora in the mid could have an upper hand just because this CC obnoxious and along with it, Diamond is just there to wipe it out if she caught anyone or the whole team inside the Frosty ultimate.
Yeah, and also like this Xbox, we some a lot of 1v1 happening because this Uranus. Do you think the fire missiles will be able to just counter that Uranus at this point? Because there's like two of the good EXP laners.
That is true. And I do think, like personal preferences, I would quietly go for a Uranus if I have to lane against that Xbox because technically I don't think so. A lot of heroes could work against that Xbox because. As we know, he deals ton amount of true damage if those, the first kills, burning sensations are all stacked up to you, and Uranus would be quite a good because his passive just allows him to heals up and just it would be a stalemate lane in the mid side, but look at that. In the mid side, we can see something happening. Vexana was forced to use his flicker just to evade that CC coming in from Aurora. Asuna was there trying to deal as much damage towards that Vexana.
And also Jay, he wants to rotate on to the gold side, but there's Grok. He wants to invade this jungle, but the retribution has been used, and the flicker force out from Blizz. It's going to cause him some trouble, and the soul shards will be taken from Jay, and he will secure the first blood onto that Blizz. They want to gag the gold lane, but since the retribution and the ultimate from that Amon has been used, the Nathan, he will actually save his life because they were actually going to gang onto the gold lane. And to the top side, the turtle will be most probably spawning. So they will be rotating back onto the turtle, but the Roger, the error, he seems to be farming.
That is true. But again, talking about the early game, ABM do have an upper hand as we see like there is a high loss. Meanwhile, Vexana has just rotated to a top section. There is a Apex there, and he is just doing his job to make sure he deals too much damage. Not too much, but at least he deals the damage so that they will be backing it off as of now. The turtle has just started. Jay over there prioritizing the turtle as of now, and that is the full four-man team from ABM securing the first turtle for themselves.
Oh my god, man. What a team fight. And meanwhile, the last sanity has been used up as well onto that Blaze and the glorious pathway. Just giving a lot of damage along with the Aurora's ultimate. What a beautiful play coming in from Asuna at this point. But they want to go for the more. And the Roger is looking for an engage onto that Aurora. And the passive from the Asuna has been baited out. And he actually wanted to go for the more. Jay is still there. He's poking that Dogs at this moment. But still, this second skill of Uranus to just back him out of that position onto the bot side. It's just 1v1 situation among that Nathan and that Moscow.
Mhm. That was pretty good engage coming in from ABM. Look at that combination. The coordination is just up to mark. And I do think, like LCF, this time they would be having some early troubles. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Moscow dealing too much damage to the light, forced to recall to the base. Vex just rotating towards the bottom lane to help his precious marksman to farm it up. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Blizz is there. He might be going down, and that is the ultimate coming in from the Croc, and Apex will be going down, but looks ultimate, and that is Jay using the soul sword and making a kill, a play over to that Roger taking a kill. Aaron might be in some trouble this time because his score is not looking up to the mark. Uranus just diving and doing something. He's trying to focus like I'm here, just kill me, try to kill me. I'll be there. You don't push the mid lane, but it seems he was too late to the fight as of now.
And the bot side, the Nathan seems to be just, he was just chunking out all of the gold from that gold turret onto the bot side because Moscow was busy in the team fight. Meanwhile, we can see Jay just giving a lot of damage onto that box, but the soul shards, he will be dealing a ton of damage, and he just barely misses a kill at that point. And there was just cursed arm from that Vexana to just give him terrify from that situation and save the Uranus life. But onto the top side, they would be still last sanity onto that Xbox to just secure the kill. And yep, he wants to go for the last sanity for the kill secure, but it wouldn't do him enough damage. But Jay is still there to secure the kill for his team. And Uranus seems to be in some trouble, but there's a lot of shield and healing on himself to just save him from that gank.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it was quite a 2v4 situation, but Team ABM will be packing it off, giving the tower for two Team LCF as of now. Second turtle is being spawned up, and this time Jay will be, without any hesitation, will be taking it off as the no. No, three members of Team LCF are in the bottom lane, so without any hesitation, he will be just securing it, that turtle, along with that blue buff stolen away from the Roger, and he'll be going down as the damage coming in from Jay is online as of now. Look at that. Blaze is trying to provide the vision, but it is unavailable to do so. Drops over there, trying to provide the vision as of now, but Apex is there.
Oh my god, that soul shards, it was just deleted the HP of that Roger at this point. And meanwhile, we can see it's going to be some ganking onto the top side. The Grog and the Peter, they're still there to just gank him out of that Xbox. And onto the bot side, we can see there's Radium. He just wants to take the turret at this point, and he secures the turret for him, Steam. And onto the top side, there's Jay and Mirio. They want to defend that turret at the life. And there's Light. He seems to be in some trouble because the shards from that Ammon, he'll be just invisible. He'll be just in camouflage. He'll be just using the soul shards to just secure the kill right onto him. But there's Asuna and Apex. They're rotating onto the top tier. They want to take the turret, and the entropy from Light has been used in this defensive way, and the soul shards will give a lot of damage. It seems to be in some trouble.
Be going down as last, and he will be taking down that kill over to that Peter. Meteor doing an exceptional good job and dealing ton amount of damage with that. Meanwhile, Jay in the mid section trying to poke down that box, but he is just too tanky as of now, and they'll be prioritizing the tower instead of box. Meanwhile, oh, wait a minute, I do thought like ABM do manage to secure the top tower, but it is still intact in its place.
Oh my god, they're playing such a micro plays coming in from both the teams. And we can see, oh my god, what a damage coming in from that Jay onto that Peter, and secures the kill right away onto the soul shards. But most probably it's going to be backfire onto that Jay at this moment.
But wait a minute, he managed to escape with minus 1% of HP. So microplays coming in handy, and again, Jonas will be going down as Moscow is there to score. But look at that, Hungry Wolf is online, is looking for more. A double kill for him, but he'll be going down in the process as Apex managed to stun him down inside the tower, and he will be securing a kill. Light might be in some trouble, and Trophy used to back it off, but the damage from Jay is just too much at this point.
And man, like the soul shards, he's just stacking it up, just going in front of the enemy, and he's just using the soul shards to just give a lot of damage, and he just backs off like nothing happened. He's just using the ultimate hit, the turtle. It seems to be an uncontested turtle from the side of ABM, and there's Dox and Blizz just giving a lot of vision for his team, but there's still not Roger to just steal the turtle right away. And onto the mid side, we can see some ganking happening, most probably because Asuna and the Apex are still there, just making good position for their team to gank in.
So I don't believe like LCF is trying to play it safe, but as of now, it is 8 minutes and the scoreboard is not looking happy for Team LCF. They are less in the gold, 6k gold lead ahead for Team ABM this time. The next lot, the first lot of the game will be spawned in minus 90 seconds of the time, but Team LCF, what could they do as of now if they want to win the first game and take this lead in the best of 5 series?
That is true. And meanwhile, onto the top side, we can see some ganking happening onto that tier 2 moment.
Apex is there, trying to do some plays, just trying to provide the vision, but look at the Jay's position. He is there, and that burst along with that show shards will be most likely enough to delete that error. Looking in its prime today as of now. Meanwhile, Dox just trying to split push, but Miro is there to, just protect his tower. Meanwhile, look at the Radium. He is too fixated to provide and to push the tower.
Oh my god, and the tier 2 has been taken from Radium at this point, and they're trying to force the mid lane as well. We can see there's Jay and the Dwarks, they're just brawling around that red buff. Along with the mid side, we can see they want to go for the push, and there's Blizz and Peter to just back the Jay off. They're trying to zone the Jay off from that situation at this point.
But look at the Radium. He is just doing a 1v1 fight against Light. He is quite low, but get that engage and respect from both of the teams. Like they're not making slight of the mistakes, even though like team ABM is trying to force them down just because of the early engage and the early aggression from the team. The goal lead is just growing as the time moves. That is the ultimate coming in from Apex and the flicker plays. But look at that last insanity from the Miro, but won't be enough to deal the damage. But his immortality will be popping off as of now. Light and Jay is there and will be securing a kill out of the Sana slow starts connecting, but look at that Roxy. It's too tanky and dealing some amount of damage, making sure he gets something out of that fight, but in the process will be going down.
Oh my god, what a gang from ABM. They're trying to just choke LCF now. And also, if they go for the Lord at this moment, they could actually get those inhibitor passives and the inhibitor turrets if they go for ganking mostly. Because, if you see the goal difference, it's almost like 8k goal difference taken from ABM at this moment.
As I mentioned, like team LCF, they're not too much good at this point because the gold lead from ABM it is just increasing as the time proceeds for them. The first lot being secured without any hesitation, without any contest from team LCF as of now, and I do believe like they do need a CC or they need to prioritize the like who they mark up to because Jay he is just wandering around team fights, making sure. Meanwhile, Steve is just providing him the vision he needs.
That is true. And meanwhile, onto the bot side, we could see some ganking onto the Mirio. He's just zoning them inside the turret. And the Lord, it will be just marching onto the top side. And Jay, he wants to, he's just making sure all the stacks are completed and the soul shards will give a lot of damage.
That is true. That is true. Miro just doing his best and making sure he gets the front liner melting and just try to bully him with his passive, giving him the true damage. But look at Tara, he is just too tanky as of now. Minions are rushing down towards the enemy inhibitor in the mid section, but that is the Frosty Freeze coming in from Aurora. Both of the teams, Team ABM will be disengaging as of now because they don't seem to fight in the enemy base as of now. But look at the position coming in from Jay. He's just waiting around, lurking over there for someone, a squishy member to melt down. They see a Dwarf is in an off-guard position, and that is the Shool Slide used along with the ultimate pop from Dwarfs, making sure he gets to his space alive.
Oh my god, that was he was just trying to give a vision, and then Jay just spotted him, just come here, like I'm gonna take a kill on you, but he didn't actually succeed on that. When we can see Peter and Error, they're trying to get their vision by throwing those skills randomly inside the bush, but the Blizz and the dogs, they're trying to give as much as vision. They spotted the Meteor at this point. They want to just take the Frag armor off, but there's still last sanity on him to just escape from any skills just popping onto him.
You get the position coming in from Arsenal. They are looking for the fight, providing best vision he could for that marksman to just clear up the lanes and look at the positioning. Both of the teams they are respecting each other because they know a slightly mistake could turn the tides of this game.
Playing pretty safe at this point. Like the passive gameplay is just they have to wait for the Lord to come and they'll just take the level 2 Lord and they'll be trying to force off those inhibited turrets at this moment.
Jay might be in some trouble, but look at that. He spots down the place. He is just to fixate over that. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Arsenal do manage to secure a kill over to that. And he will be going down just right before the Lord, which will be spawning in minus 5 seconds of time as we speak. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the fire situation might be in some trouble. LCF this time. Ultimate being used from the high loss, and they are just too focused over to that bottom lane tower to make sure they gets it. Apex in some trouble. He is 1% HP, and that is like securing a kill over to that Apex. Meanwhile, the bottom turret falls down as Jay secures the top tower. Might be it, but look at that Roger. He's looking for the kill, and he'll be taking down Jay with him as he goes down. Meanwhile, Light will be some trouble, but really, both of the marksmen dealing too much of damage over to each other. At this point, Ross
Oh,
is the only one surviving that, and this might be it as the minions are already in the base, and Miri along with that Aston are just marking down that base, and this will be the game number one taken away from the side of Team ABM.
and the dogs. He was just waiting there, like he couldn't do anything regardless of his skills because he wanted to just clear off those minions, but the amount of minions were way too much. He couldn't even do anything at that point. How many minions could he clear? And the basic attacks from Asuna and the Meteor, they were just freeing the base because they didn't have any damage dealer onto their side.
That is true. That is true. In my opinion, those last fights was quite a do or die situation for Team LCF who was there. They were slightly engaged. Team ABM, they know like the two of the members from this team are down. This is our time to end it. We will be